You've had an amazing opportunity over the last 30 years to observe how engineering has grown in popularity and in recognition, indeed, by many governments across the world. Why do you think engineering is so important today?
Well, I mean, maybe if we just backtrack a little bit first, and I say this to a lot of young people, and that is, you've really hit, engineering as a career, at a pretty damn good point. The older of us in the room, we sort of lived through engineering in the dark ages of Great Britain. And by the way, that doesn't mean that there weren't a lot of great things going on an engineering and an innovation front in the UK, but it just, it wasn't trendy. It wasn't the career that people promoted. It wasn't something which people were shouting about as something that was a key value creator for the country. And actually, it was only about 10 years ago, and then really only about 8 years ago, when we started, or we were at the beginning of the financial crisis, that people really started to question, what are we doing in this country? What is it that's generating value? Is it the financial services industry alone? Is it our service industry? Or, do we actually need to go back and, make more things, invent more things, and create more value in that way?
I'm sure all the young engineers who are in the room today are dying to know what advice you'd give them to best take advantage of those opportunities that lie ahead.
I mean, first of all, the opportunities, I hope I've given some flavour. They really, really are vast and tremendous. So, one thing I always say to young people is, pick something which you feel you can be passionate about. I enjoy what I do because I'm genuinely passionate about, what Siemens does and what we contribute to society, what we do to improve transport infrastructure, what we do to help decarbonise in terms of energy supplies, and all of these things. It excites me, and therefore it's quite easy for me to keep up my energy levels and keep working hard, keep driving hard, because at the end of the day, through all of that hard work, you feel like you're helping. And the other piece of advice I always give is, work for an organisation, or look for an organisation where you believe you can buy into their values and their culture and how they work. Because, a lot of what we do in organisations is about, how people behave, how people work with one another, the culture that we create. And you might want to be in a much smaller company, a startup type environment where it's completely gung-ho, and it's real seat of your pants stuff, and you might be in work this week and not the next, and that might excite you, and that might be the culture that you like, or you might want to work for, an organisation like Siemens, where it's slightly more long-term thinking, it's slightly more visionary in terms of, where we might be in 10 years' time. It's about collaboration, it's about teamwork. You might not be able to stand out as an individual quite so much, certainly in your early days, because you'll be part of a team. So work out what it is that you think you will fit into in terms of an organisation, and feel comfortable within that. So when you're getting interviewed by organisations, ask them about the culture, ask them about the management styles. What's it like to work here? And make sure you can feel comfortable.
Do you think that somebody in Congleton or in Lagos or Caracas can actually link into that wider network? How do you encourage young people to take that truly global view?
Yeah, well, it's not that easy actually for somebody in Congleton to reach into, truly, I've been doing this and I'm now going to work in Lagos or something like that. But we do have really good platforms where people can communicate with one another. We have sort of social network platforms where people can communicate with one another, say, I've got this problem, has somebody else seen that same problem? And it's amazing how those social networks are working very efficiently to connect people across Siemens, across different divisions, but also between different countries. We do the same around innovation platforms. So on innovation platforms, there is a lot of people who will be communicating with different parts of Siemens, and very often we also do give the opportunity to people, who have worked in a particular place, have got an expertise, have set up a particular production line, to say, well, you've done that in Congleton, will you now help us set up something similar in China or somewhere else? So, we do move our skills around in that way, and I say, and also with that give people tremendous opportunity to try something new and something different. And certainly, from my experience, to move around, try different things, live in different countries, these are all great experiences for your career.